You're listening to Diminishing Returns, the podcast about sequels, prequels, spin-offs, and reboots. I'm Chris Scott, and across from me, he's the man that goes, Diminishing Returns podcast, eh? Well, there's a story about that podcast. Maybe one day I'll tell you about it. It's Mr. Alan Johnson.
How do, pod people?
This place is evil. Sometimes dead is better.
Published in 1983, Pet Sematary is considered by many to be author Stephen King's darkest and most consistently frightening novel, with King himself stating of all of his books it genuinely scares him the most. An unrelenting meditation on grief and the superstitions and stigma around death, based in part on King's own life in the late 70s when he and his family lived in rural Maine, where they lost a beloved family pet and almost one small child to a notoriously busy road close to their home. The grim mood of the book would be carried over into King's own screenplay for what would become the 1989 film adaptation. The story concerns a Creed family who move from Boston to Maine and their new home, which borders the titular burial ground. But when tragedy strikes, Lewis Creed is helped by a kindly neighbour Judd. However, this deed only unleashes an evil chain reaction of events with horrific consequences for the family. The film was rushed into production due to the 1988 screenwriters' strike, and George A. Romero was set to direct until his work on Monkey Shines overran, where he was replaced by acclaimed music video director Mary Lambert, who would create not only a surprise hit film, which would defy critical notice to deliver blockbuster level box office, but also give punk legends the Ramones one of their biggest selling singles of their career with the title song. Owing to the success of the first film, Paramount were eager for a follow-up, and again would ask Lambert to direct. With no returning characters or input from Stephen King, the sequel would use elements of Pet Sematary as local legend and cautionary tale for the new residents of Ludlow, Maine, in Edward Furlong, who moves there with his father after the death of his actress mother, where events surrounding the power of the Indian burial ground would lead to more death. So now in 2019, a remake from Paramount is on the way, so we thought we would ignore the warnings and the portents of evil and press on over the deadfall to see what we could uncover in the Pet Sematary.
That is better! That is better! That is better!
Yes, Pet Sematary, terribly spelled.
Constructed by children, Chris.
That just annoys me. I can't deal with that. So I'd never seen these films.
No.
The first one, didn't realise that security officer Natasha Yar from Star Trek Next Generation was in it.
That's right.
As the mother, in one of the lead roles. Great. I was like, cool, it's Tasha Yar. Sweet.
Yeah.
And then I did know that Fred Gwynne from The Monsters was in it, and my cousin Vinny, but it was still good to see him. And then there was some other guy that I've never heard of. He's like the lead character. He's the doctor who moves his family to the house next to the Pet Sematary. And this is becoming a bit of a theme of doctors that I would not want to be anywhere near my medical issues, because this guy, his dead-eyed monotone, this actor, it really is just like everything is played like this. Doctor, I think I might have bowel cancer. Oh well, there's nothing we can do. It's like, mate, fucking jazz it up a bit, you're in a film.
That role was meant to be played by Bruce Campbell. Now, just insert Bruce Campbell into that role and replay the movie.
Suddenly, hella good time.
Yeah.
So basically, he moves his family to this house in the outskirts of Maine, and it's right on like a road where there's like giant trucks speeding through this road, which is right in front of their house, and like immediately
they get the fence builders in.
Yeah, of course, yeah, because you've got two young children.
Yep.
Just, safety first. They're moving house. They rock up and immediately like turn their backs on the kids, on both of them. Like, but it's like, I know it takes a village to raise a child, but there's no one else around. There's only one other house near you. I don't have kids. Knocks on wood. I don't have kids that I know of. What do I know about the pressures of raising children and looking after them? But I would have thought, and you can maybe correct me if I'm wrong here.
Yeah, I'll certainly pitch in with my advice.
With your experience, maybe keeping an eye on your kids when there's a giant busy road full of trucks that could kill them would possibly be number one on your list. Like maybe let's not just get distracted by every single little thing that happens. Like they have attention deficit disorder or something. They're just like, oh, a butterfly's flapped its wings. Let's look at that. Oh, I'm sure the toddler will be fine. It's ridiculous.
Well, that was one of my big complaints about The Quiet Place, was just the level of parenting. People seem to just ignore their children in the most perilous of situations.
Yeah, so there's like a wee toddler, and then there's like, I guess Lassie's about like 8 or something.
In the book, she's meant to be starting first grade, so I guess she's like 6 or 7.
Okay, as we've discussed, like if you show me a kid, it's just a kid. Anywhere between age 1 and 25. Like, I can't tell which one you are. Okay.
So just big child and small.
Yeah, exactly. So basically there's boring Doctor Man,
Yep.
Natasha Yar from Star Trek
Yep.
Next Generation, and their two kids that they are not great at looking after. This will come up later. It's a Stephen King film. I think you can all get, I mean, within 2 seconds I was like, well, I guess I know what's going to happen here. Let's just stick the countdown clock on. And they've got like a kindly old neighbour played by Fred Gwynne from The Munsters, a legend in show business.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, The Munsters were great.
Also author and illustrator of children's books.
Oh, wow.
You know.
By the way, great performance in this film, right? Because not only is it kind of daft and hammy when it needs to be, but you kind of believe him. And he is that, as I was referencing in the intro, you don't want to go down that road. Well, that road's got stories. Maybe one day I'll tell you, friend. Quality horror movie guy who's just coming in and going, oh, spooky stuff's down there, but I won't tell you about it. I'll tell you about it in about 5 minutes.
He adopts that Maine accent.
Yeah, that's what we got around here, Sometimes a big truck comes running around and that kills a lot of pets, They've got the Pet Sematary. It was misspelled, because we're fucking stupid. So this sets it up, right?
Busy road, kindly neighbour, dopey family.
It's great. They go around and have a look at the Pet Sematary, and it's basically, it's like, loads of animals get killed because we look after animals as well as you look after your kids. We just let them run about, even though, again, massively busy road. So that's fine, guys. So it's just this massive pet graveyard.
Yeah.
Fred Gwynne talked to the kids a wee bit about death and, how you kind of got to accept death, and you're like, fucking keep it light, pal. Just offer them a juice box or something, Jesus. But then the doctor goes to work. Some guy has like some massive brain injury. He's like, what?
Victor Pascoe.
What happened to him? Because I kind of got bored and missed what happened. But he gets rushed in and like half his fucking head's caved in.
Yeah, so Lewis Creed has moved to Maine because he's now the doctor.
Who's Lewis Creed?
The dopey doctor.
Yeah, let's just call him that. Dopey doctor. Because I don't want anyone thinking that this is like the prequel to Creed and that Apollo's going to drop in.
Dr. Dopey has relocated with his family to Maine because he now works at the university, and one of the students is out jogging on campus and is knocked down, and so he gets brought in with his head caved in. First day on your new job, and what you want is a student dying right in front of you.
Yeah, he's already lost a patient. Literally he comes in and he's just like, oh damn it, he's dead. Oh well. You're like, fucking hell, man.
We did everything we could.
Yeah, the films we've been watching will just teach me that doctors are dead-eyed sociopaths, and that's possibly true.
What's kind of interesting from the Stephen King oeuvre is that he quite often inserts his main protagonist as a writer. Obviously it's a conduit of him. But in this book, it's crucial that he's a doctor because we are looking at all aspects of grief, from losing a family pet to losing a family member. He's involved in the battle of life
world
and
of death.
Yeah.
And so this guy dies. Well, guy's dead. And then like reanimates for a second and is like, don't go to the other bit of the thing. Don't go to the bit. I'm going to tell you. Don't go to the other bit. How much you want to go. Whatever you do, don't go to the other bit. Have I made this clear enough? Don't go. They're going to say, do you want to go to this other bit? Don't go there. And he's like, oh, wow. And then he gets home. And here's the thing. I think he goes to bed in his scrubs. The doctor wakes up at one point. He's still wearing like...
I think it's his jammies.
Well, they look a lot like scrubs to me. You know my rule.
Yep.
No scrubs. I don't want no scrubs. Me and, of course, the band Tender Loving Care. Now, so like, don't go there. Oh, right, God. Guy just fucking came up from death itself and went, don't go there, right? So basically, within about 2 seconds, the fucking idiot's let his cat die, right? So he's got a cat. The cat's dead, right? Dopey doctor's let his cat. He's already let a patient die. And like fucking 2 minutes later, his fucking cat's dead, right?
He's not a vet.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, exactly. Fuck that cat, right? There's a cat. The cat's dead. And he's like, oh, fuck. I guess we're going to have to bury the cat. Fred Gwynne's like, why don't we go to this other place that's just behind the Pet Sematary? It's another place that you should go. And he goes, oh yeah, sure. Mate, literally 5 minutes, like the night before or something, some fucking dead guy's come back to life and said, if somebody tells you to go to like another bit, don't do it, no matter how much you want to do it. And he's just like, oh, okay, that sounds fun. Let's go there. And what do they find? Which I love is like, there's this like little kids' pet cemetery for children of every age. And just behind that, what is there?
They have to cross what's called the Deadfall and trek, and then they find an ancient Indian burial ground.
Boom. Horror mother load, everybody. The ancient Indian burial ground. Also, they're called the Micmacs.
The Micmac
Which
Indians,
is actually a really real thing.
Yes,
At the risk of being attacked by ancient Indian zombies. That's a shit name.
Oh, come on.
Micmacs.
The Micmacs.
It sounds like a snack. Native people of America, I respect you and you've had a rough deal. That's a shit name. I'm just saying it's a shit name. Yeah, do you know what I mean? You can't imagine like John Wayne. Goddamn Micmacs. It's going to be terrible. So I assume we're Micmacs native to Maine?
Yes,
Okay, so he's been historically accurate.
Yeah.
Cool. Does Stephen King have a section on this on writing, his book about how you write? Is there where it's like, oh, even if it's a shit name, use it if it's historically accurate? I bet he doesn't. Fuck you, Stephen King.
This is the second time that Stephen King has used ancient Indian burial ground as a trope. It pops up first of all in The Shining, where again he uses regionally accurate tribal names for the pre-Columbian natives. But that trait obviously pops up in horror all the time. It's great, referencing everything from Simpsons, Family Guy, all of that. But the Onion headline, which said US economy failing because entire US built on ancient Indian burial ground.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Is the classic of the genre.
I've not seen that, but I was going to make a joke that really isn't all America and ancient Indian burial ground. And there you go. The Onion not only did that, but they did it better, as they always do.
Horror academics have traced the origin of
the trope. Stop you right there. No such thing as horror academics. They might call themselves that. They're not academics. All right? You're a scientist. You're an academic.
Dr. Fibes of the Muscatonic Institute has recently written a paper. Acknowledged ground zero for it is the Amityville Horror, where they claim that house was built on top of not only an ancient burial ground but a sanatorium, which was
built on an ancient Indian burial ground,
which housed Native Americans.
Oh, wow.
None of that is true or even like regionally accurate for the people that inhabited that.
That's one of my favourite cons. Well done, guys. That's the fact that you just made that up and everyone was like, well, because I suppose we could check it, but why bother? This all seems to scan. This seems normal. This all seems like it's completely fucking legit.
Of course, Fred Gwynne, as we learn later in the film, has previously buried his own pet there.
Yeah, I mean, he knows what he's doing.
Fred Gwynne's story, when he tells it, he's like, the dog went in the ground, he came back out, he was evil, he was biting everybody, he smelled of graveyard earth.
But let's do this for your animal. Let's see what happens.
But
let's give it a bash.
Let's give you a devil cat.
Yeah. Oh, they come back evil. It's not the same thing that went in the ground. But let's do it for your daughter's pet, though. She'll be in her room with alone all the time. Cool. Now, here's the thing, though. Even without that context,
yes,
dopey doctor, when weird old neighbour goes, just come over here, when, let's be clear, a literal ghost said, don't do this. He goes there, and then he's like, wait a minute, the hell's this? And he's like, it's an ancient Indian burial ground. Oh, okay. Want to bury your pet here, pal? And he goes, yeah, okay. Right. At no point is he going, well, no, that's awful. Let's put it in the pet cemetery where the pets go. Let's not bury my cat on the burial ground of a rich people who had their land taken from them by my ancestors, right? No matter how bad their name is, they didn't deserve that. But he's just like, yeah, fuck it, because he's a dumb, dopey piece of shit. So dopey doctor buries his cat. Lo and behold, the cat comes back, and the cat's evil. You know why the cat's evil? Because it's got like wee glowing eye things that sometimes happen. And it's like, oh, yeah, you know how this cat's evil? Because it scratches people. That's what cats do. That's literally like, there's no difference between an evil cat and a cat. A cat is already an evil cat. It just scratches things and fucks about. And this one just doing it, except it's got glowing eyes. The only difference between a cat and a thing that comes from the dead but is in the form of a cat is it's got glowing eyes. That's it.
Oh, it stinks as well.
Cats pretty much stink as well. But maybe that's how they didn't really notice there was too much going on.
In the book, there's certainly a lot more about the sort of power of that ground, and also the legend of the Wendigo, which is like a sort of like Native American bogeyman. So there's a lot more sort of like spiritual angle about the powers that the actual Micmac burial ground has, and especially if you've used it before, it has a sort of pull on you. Cool. And so
none of that's in this film. In this film, the doctor just goes, yeah, I'll fucking bury my cat in an ancient Indian burial ground because I'm a fucking prick. So dopey doctor does that. Cat comes back. It's evil. Some other boring shit happens for a bit. And then the bit we've all been waiting for, they decide to be just chilling out, having a picnic, flying a kite. Hey, little toddler, well, why don't you fly this kite and I will keep an eye on you unless I'm distracted, in which case I will forget that you're even there. Like, there's three of them. There's the 6-year-old or 7-year-old, whatever the fuck, kid.
Yeah, Ellie.
As she's a kid, I'm going to give her a pass.
Okay.
Even then, though, her hands are bloody on this occasion. But you know what? I'll give her a pass. There's 3 adults there.
Yes.
And there's a toddler. And not one of them thinks, oh, well, I should probably keep an eye on this toddler.
Who's chasing a kite string.
Yeah, in the direction of the giant road where there's fucking trucks coming down at 100 miles an hour.
The road that is the reason that there's a pet cemetery there, just killing.
Children are like slightly bigger pets. You need to keep an eye on them, and if a truck hits them, they do not come off the better of the two. With all the crushing fucking obviousness that we've been waiting for the whole film, their toddler gets hit by a truck in a sequence that I can only describe as hilarious.
you found that hilarious.
I'm not gonna lie, this film is a great comedy, because this whole film is fucking funny as shit, because they can't have been expecting you to take any of this dumb shit seriously, because literally like It's the scene starts with a guy in the truck speeding, listening to the Ramones, and then it cuts to the family all being like, "Hey, why don't we let the toddler play and run around?" Cuts back to the speeding truck, and you're like, "Oh God, gee, wonder what the filmmakers are going to do next." And then it cuts back to the family, at which point they all turn their back on the toddler, and then it cuts back to the truck, and then it cuts back again, and then you just see the wee toddler run on, and they do what I can only describe as a poor man's version of the Mad Max death, where you see wee baby Shoe. Mad Max one was done really well, and you were like, "Fuck, that's brutal." It was like a shitty episode of Casualty.
In defense of Dr. Dopey, it's the one scene in this movie where you genuinely see emotion from him when he's running to desperately try and catch his kid.
Oh, by the way, he's a clumsy fellow, isn't he? He was all fucking like fawing about and all that. Fred Gwynne was probably getting closer to him than you, and he's a fucking 80-year-old man.
I find that sequence quite...
Is this, however, because obviously you are a truck driver?
Yes.
Let's be clear. He was going to die at some point soon because of his parents' fucking lack of care. These fucking dipshits, right, should not have been allowed to take care of children, never mind a cat. Like, for a start, like, there was a warning shot. The warning shot was your dead cat. I have no sympathy for these pricks.
Well, I find that sequence really affecting. I think it's assembled quite well. There are goofy aspects to it, but I really like it. And it's a pretty good performance from that little kid.
I mean, if we're saying that Toddler is better than the guy playing the Doctor, 100% agree. The fucking cat's a better actor than the fucking guy playing the Doctor. I think there's two films basically happening here. There's one film that I think Stephen King tried to make with his script, which is like genuinely about grief and how it affects people and things that happened to you in the past and how do you deal with that, and of which it creeps up now and again in the film, only to be replaced by what I can only describe as Three Stooges-esque comedy from these morons. There is this awful sort of sad stuff about, you know, they obviously have to bury the child and all that, and you know, they have a funeral and he's never got on with his father-in-law, and his father-in-law punches him, and you're like, this is all pretty fucking
this is over.
But there you go, this is when they ruin it, like just like, this is fucking awful, and then it's like, whoa, and they knock into the kid's coffin, and it's like, it fucking falls out and you get to see a wee glimpse, and it's like, guys, this is some goofy ass nonsense. Another point in the film where it's all like fucking all meant to be dramatic, the Doctor falls out of bed and knocks his head off the side table, despite being weirdly well shot in places. It's like they're trying to do a Three Stooges comedy. At one point I expected Fred Gwynne to be like, listen, we all know what happens next, but what I like about it is that Fred Gwynne kind of goes, nah, I know what you're thinking. Nah, you definitely don't want to be going to do what you're thinking now. And I would like the idea if then Dopey Doctor went, oh shit, I hadn't thought of that, thanks man, I'm just going to go dig up my kid and put him in the Indian burial ground, which is what happens. But do you know what I like about this? I'll tell you what I like about this. He goes to dig up his kid from his regular burial ground so he can take him in the Indian burial ground. He does this in broad fucking daylight. Like, he literally drives up to the regular cemetery, not the pet one, not the ancient Indian one, regular cemetery, and walks out with like shovels and a bag, being like, doop, doop, doo, 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 doo. Nobody's going to be like, is that guy digging up his fucking bairn? Just do that bit at night. This dumbbell eventually does dig up a grave, takes a wee man to the fucking Indian burial ground, bish bash bosh. What happens next up?
Toddler comes back as the evil toddler.
It's an evil toddler. Now, don't get me wrong, like a wee guy running about killing cunts, brilliant. I was kind of like, this could be fun.
Sometimes dead is better.
Right? Better than fucking watching this film. You can contact us in a variety of modes. You can email us at diminishingpod@gmail.com. On Twitter, you can get us at diminishingpod. On Facebook, we are Diminishing Returns Podcast. And you can tag us and stuff on Facebook by putting at Diminishing Returns Pod. On Instagram, at Diminishing Pod, we have a blog, diminishingpod.wordpress.com. On YouTube, you can just search for Diminishing Returns and you'll probably find us. We're also on Spotify, so if you prefer to listen to your podcast on Spotify, we are an independent podcast, guys. So what I would ask of you is that if each listener here to think of one person that would enjoy this podcast. You must have a friend that likes cool movies and can handle a lot of dirty talk from me, mostly. Just think of one person and send them a link to a specific show or like an episode you loved of the show or you think that they would love. Send them a specific link, or when you're out with them, take their phone or iPad and put the show into their podcast catcher wherever they get it. For you, the regular listener, you're thinking, what can I do to help? You can rate and review us 5 stars, don't be a cunt, on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. That really helps new people find the show. Thanks, guys. So he first goes and kills Fred Gwynne.
Yeah.
And also this toddler who's not spoke for the whole film, now that he's been possessed by whatever, he's a fucking chatty wee bastard. And he's just like, Jesus Christ, wee man.
I think that's what makes it really disconcerting. Apart from the fact that you've got a murderous infant on the go, I think the fact that, that evil spirit that's sort of possessing him is making him speak. That gives it that added creep.
Where did you learn words like murder?
Yeah.
I mean, it could be creepy, but it is also just like a wee guy running about with like a scalpel that he's stolen from his dad's doctor bag. And it's just like a wee toddler, right? I don't know, Fred Gwynne's like an old man, but it's still a wee toddler. You let a toddler murder you. You could take that toddler. Like, it's tiny. You could kick him over to the next fucking farm. This wee fucking toddler kills a grown man. If you get killed by a toddler, you deserve to die. And then Natasha Yar from Star Trek The Next Generation, as to give her a full title, she comes back and he's like, Mommy, come and play. And she's like, wait, wasn't my kid dead a couple of days ago? And he fucking murders her. Again, you're a grown woman.
Imagine, like, you're consumed with grief, and the one thing you would want in the whole world is that your kid is not dead, and there for one glittering moment you do think, oh, my baby's back, he's not dead.
And then when that kid comes at you with a scalpel, you put the laces right through him. If you hit him in the centre mass, just like a proper thunder bastard of a shot in the top corner, fucking boot him. I don't care how evil this undead toddler is, right? This undead toddler, 2 grown humans, 0. No. Right? And it's brilliant because, like, you know how toddlers, like, they walk and it's all kind of cute and adorable? And it's brilliant because he's like running about with a wee scalpel, be like, I'm gonna kill people. It's so adorable. Come here, wee man.
One point, I don't know if you caught, but Tasha Yar's sister had spinal meningitis, Zelda, and she has her own issues around Zelda's death and Zelda's illness.
Yeah.
But there's a painting of Zelda before she fell ill in the family home in Chicago where they go to visit with the hateful in-laws. She's in a sort of like little blue dress, and that's why the little kid ends up in that costume at one point.
Wait, right, hold on. She's in a blue dress, that's why the kid ends up in a top hat and cane.
Yeah,
the kid's in a top hat and cane.
There's a painting in the family home you see several times.
Was that her sister?
Yeah, that's Zelda.
Played by a man.
Yeah,
it's not a lassie full stop. So the wee fucking undead murdery toddler turns up in a top hat and cane. How can you tell me this film is like a horror masterpiece?
I didn't say masterpiece.
You said you would marry this film. You said it 2 seconds ago. He's probably cut out the edit, listener. You should hear some of the things he says in here. But yeah, shut the fuck up, man. By the way, let's just get into this right now. All I hear is pricks like you giving it Stephen King, the most brilliant imagination. This man, the icon of horror, one of the great American writers. Well, how come every single film that I've seen that's got something to do with Stephen King is some goofy ass bullshit? Some whack ass fucking, it's a car that kills people. Trucks, they're in maximum overdrive. It's a fucking toddler with a top hat and cane. What the fuck? It's a Langley. I don't even know what that is. That's the one I have no idea. But do you know what I mean?
This is the problem. It's just a translation of books to film. His books have such amazing writing
in that book. Really, the top hat and cane's kind of like a character itself. Wow. So listen, let's get back to it. We top hat and tail, little putting on the Ritz, right? So he's murdered 2 people, which, let me be very clear, is impressive for a toddler. He's murdering at like a 16-year-old level. You know what I mean?
He's on the accelerated learners program, that's correct. And so his father decided to sort of like fill syringes with morphine, and he goes to confront little Gage Creed.
Yeah, he first stabs the cat with a needle.
Yeah,
which was kind of fun. It was just like, just fucking grab it by its legs and rattle off the grunt. And he's trying to fucking wrestle with this cat, you dozy prick.
Now, Chris, not everyone is like you, who appears to be on the cusp of homicide.
By the way,
so
at every
readily.
fucking point, at every fucking point. But you know what would be a reasonable time to be?
For some people, it's a struggle to overcome, even in high tension situations.
Do you know what is a good time to be on the cusp of homicide? When you're dealing with undead, evil fucking entities, Alan. I'm sorry, you're fucking Mr. Snowflake wants to rehabilitate the murdering fucking cats, and he eventually puts the morphine into it and the cat dies, right? Because when they come back you can kill them again. It's in canon. So he does that, right? And then he goes to get his toddler, which again, let me be very clear, pick it up by the legs and rattle it off the ground. Right? That's so much easier than trying to wrestle it. And again, it's a fucking toddler. Overpower it. You're a doctor, man. Like, you must have
He's a doctor. He's not a Krav Maga expert. it.
You're probably fucking having to like do chest compressions on people and carry that big bag full of scalpels, right? You know, man, I work at an office. I could overpower a toddler like that. Like genuinely, let me be very clear. I could totally overpower a toddler. I hope that day never has to come. But if there's any toddlers listening, which there shouldn't be, but if there's any toddlers listening, you want to come at me, toddlers? I'll fuck you up.
How about possessed by evil spirit toddlers?
Still a toddler. The cat's not suddenly got super strength, does it? It's not fucking doing weights. Fucking, oh, look at Mr. Muggles there, the fucking evil cat that's fucking suddenly benching 350. I don't know what numbers I should have put in that joke. I'm not gonna lie. Do you know what I mean? I'm not having this like, oh, suddenly the toddlers like, it could be aggressive. Like, I've seen toddlers on E numbers. You give those little bastards a Coke or something, suddenly they're a little bit fucking jabby, but you know, you can still, if you put your weight behind it, you should still have the strength as a grown man. But eventually, because he's fucking dopey as shit, he finally overpowers the toddler and puts the syringe in, which then has one of my favourite bits in this film, because the wee toddler just runs away a bit and then starts to kind of like fall and hit the wall.
Stumbles backwards, yeah.
And then says, "No fair." This is hilarious. Like, how can anyone take this film seriously? And also it's good because it is a wee toddler and it just looks like he's a wee bit tired. Oh, he's all killed out. Oh, look at him. He just needs a wee nap. Because toddlers are quite adorable. Even though he's running away with his wee scalpel, like, you know, he's filled with morphine. Yeah. You're just going, wee man's just a bit tuckered out, isn't he? Oh. Yeah. But instead, he's dead.
But before he died, he told his dad, Dopey Doctor, first I played with Judd, then I played with Mommy. So now Dopey Doctor knows that his wife's dead. So what does the doctor do? Because he's had the warning shot of bringing back the cat turned evil. He's had the warning shot of the kid dying. He brought back the kid was evil.
Third time's a charm.
Third's a charm, eh?
Fucking give it a blast, eh?
Yep, Natasha Yar's coming back.
Now, here's the thing. He also then starts just saying stuff out loud, doesn't he? To himself.
Yeah.
Because he then goes,
he's
like,
completely
just
lost
to let
his
the
mind.
audience know, he goes, no, the problem was that last time I left it too long. This time it'll work because I'm bending her right away.
But, well, yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that why the books are good and the films don't always work out, because obviously that stuff is all characters' thoughts. And
whereas he's just like...
But he just has to become, I'm now Dr. Exposition.
Yeah. So he takes security officer Natasha Yar from Star Trek Next Generation, fresh from her encounter at Farpoint, takes her down to the old Indian burial ground, bish bash bosh, buries her, goes back to house, plays a bit of cards. Because let's be honest, a watched dead body never boils. You gotta just keep yourself busy. You've just murdered your cat, you've just murdered your toddler, and now you've buried your dead wife and you're hoping to see if she comes back undead but not Kelly. And this bit, I must admit, is cool as fuck. Tasha Yar opens the door, she's got her eye missing and there's just like gunge and just coming out of her eye and it's all gross and shit, right? And then he's like, oh my god, it worked. And then they smooch, like he runs up and kisses her even though she's got all this gross stuff coming out of her eye and she's all like half undead. That was so cool. I was so happy for that. Like, I was like, he's totally stalking that dead chick. That's weird as fuck. I really like that. And then the last scene is you see her grab a knife from the table and it all goes to black as you hear him scream. Love it.
Yeah.
If the whole film was like that last 3 minutes, I was super on board. But this was some dumb, whack-ass bullshit. What do you think about this, horror boy?
I like it. I mean, it's very much of its era. You can tell budget limitations within the cast. If this was a TV movie, it would be held in much higher regard. But in terms of an adaptation, it's pretty close to what goes on. In one of my favourite Stephen King books, it's in no way does it capture the crushing grief of the book. But as far as like a 90-minute 1989 horror film goes, it's pretty good.
Well, here's the thing. I must say that I probably in bits did enjoy it. I just don't think I was enjoying it the way the filmmakers did.
Okay.
Like, I was just like, this is so dumb.
But then, of course, now it fades to black. We get the Ramones song. Now, as a Ramones fan, throughout the book, he continually goes back to like a Ramones refrain. Obviously, the truck driver that knocks down and kills Gage Creed is listening to Sheen's a Punk Rocker. And then we get the Ramones at the end. They sort of like got involved with it because Mary Lambert was a music video director.
She directed, what do you call it?
Like a Virgin, Material Girl, my personal favourite Madonna song, Borderline.
All good. Do you not do Like a Prayer as well?
Was that your favourite?
That's my favourite Madonna song.
Okay, yeah.
And I only found out a couple of years ago that it's obviously about a blowjob. I'm on my knees, I want to take you there.
Right,
and when they are, I want to feel your power.
All right, Tandino. It's
yeah, no, I mean, like, I was like, oh man, I just thought that was like a kind of just a song about like attraction, but now I'm like, oh wow, she really wanted to blow Black Jesus in that video. Yeah, Ramones, great. Early Madonna, big fans.
Yep.
One thing we haven't talked about, which is really kind of cheesy and dumb, is the guy that dies on the operating table kind of haunts the family, but in a positive way. It's like a positive haunting. It's a positive, goes, guys, I'm a ghost, but let's not be dicks about it. And he basically tries to help the family to say, like, don't go to the burial grounds, don't bury things. And then when Natasha Yar is away out of town, he's
Lewis
like, don't...
sends his wife and child off with the in-laws to Chicago, and the ghost of Pascoe tells him something's up, you've got to go back, and he keeps trying to get Natasha Yar back to Ludlow.
And which, to be fair, leads to her death. So I don't know how helpful that was.
Especially because he's so cocky, he's like, oh, my job's done here. See you later.
Is it done? There's a fucking... Yeah, he basically goes like, I now get to go to heaven. Bye. It's like, wait, isn't there a murderous toddler in there? Your job is nowhere near done.
Pitch in a little, Victor. Come on.
You fucking ghost bastard. But I think this has got an important lesson, right? I think if this is an accurate representation of the afterlife, you need to be careful that you do not die while wearing shorts. Because he's stuck as a ghost in these like tiny blue shorts, which is hilarious because it's like a wee ghost in his wee jogging outfit. Constantly made me laugh. Good on you, Mary Lambert. This film is actually kind of like well done, and it's well shot. I know, it just feels like nobody seemed to either notice or care that loads of it was goofy as shit.
Within its limitations, I think it works well, but turned into a massive success. The critics hated it. Took nearly 60 million at the box office.
Obviously, that's why there's a sequel. But before we leave Pet Sematary 1, one last thing I want to mention about this film. In the credits, I noticed that the supervising Foley editor was called Butch Wolf. Outstanding work there, everybody. Butch Wolf. That is the manliest name I've ever heard.
Something strange, something ancient, something evil, something terrifying is happening in Ludlow, Maine. Again. Pet Sematary 2. Some stories just won't stay dead.
So Paramount get Mary Lambert back because she delivered a massive box office smash for them first time around.
Lambo, get back in here.
Now, Pet Sematary 2 opens with a wonderful like sort of gothic horror opening, and you're through spooky woods and quite a nice animation for the credit sequence. And then we go into a spooky castle. The spooky castle is actually part of a horror movie being filmed, and that's one of my favourite things. I love to watch movies
fake out
being
movies
made
in the start of movies.
Yeah.
Is that why you enjoy Tales from the Crypt Demon Night? Where of course the Crypt Keeper is the director.
In classic 1930s style with a big loudhailer and stuff. Before we get into Pet Sematary 2, what do you think Castle of Terror is about?
Oh, the fake film. Castle of Terror. Well, number one, I'm just going to say, going to be set in a castle, and there's some sort of dead thing trying to grab the woman. So is it like a kind of shitty riff on Pet Sematary? I think it is. They're trying to be clever.
The castle was built on top of an ancient Anglo-Saxon burial ground.
I think so, and I think that this film will also have had a toddler that runs about and gets hit by a wheelbarrow or something going fast. I'll just leave this toddler here in the fucking axe room.
I'll put him in the armoury.
So it's called Castle of Terror.
I
mean, if I was naming my castle, probably would. I'd just be like Stirling Castle. That works.
So you're much more location based than threat level.
Yeah. Castle of Romance. Oh, I was fucking going with that one. It sounds a lot better. Pet Sematary 2 starts in film a shitty horror movie, and the lead actress is all like, this scene isn't working because the special effects guy, stuntman, he can't see what he's doing. So they're like, right, we'll reset, we'll take a wee break. And there's like lots of water in this scene.
For some reason, one guy's just got a hose near a breakout.
Loads of electrics. And again, much like at the start of an episode of Casualty, you're just like, okay, so I guess something's going to happen with the water and the electrics and she's going to die. And that's exactly what happens. But her son is wee Eddie Furlong from Terminator 2.
Fresh from Terminator 2.
Right, wow. Yeah. He was a real hot ticket for a whole 12, 13 months in Hollywood. Fair play. I quite liked him in this, actually.
Yeah.
I thought it really suited him.
I think he's really good. The first half is definitely Edward Furlong of Terminator 2. Same kind of performance, but that whole last act, which we'll get to, he's brilliant.
So, Eddie Furlong's mum died.
Fried.
Yeah, it was basically because of this electricity water malfunction. Her whole face is melted, which was cool. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, the real shame about the mother being fried in the movie set is that Edward Furlong was just about to set up some kind of Parent Trap style scheme, because he was saying,
Yeah, he wants to get the parents back together.
Do you think you and Dad would ever get back together? And the mum was like, I'm open to it once Richard Gere stops calling.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, I'd love to go back out with a balding vet. Sure. I mean, I could be out at the hot spots of LA taking the finest cocaine and getting ridden red raw by hunky men. Yeah. But sure, I'll go and hang out with this vet. Okay, cool. She wasn't going to go back with Anthony Edwards. And I like Anthony Edwards. He's a good man. That was never going to happen.
Revenge of the Nerds and Top Gun. I mean,
right?
What filmography.
I mean, he's nailed it. So Anthony Edwards is like, okay, son, we're going to take you out of LA. We're going to go back to the summer home in our old hometown where I will take over the veterinary practice and just get away from all this.
Yeah.
They bury her back in her hometown. And he goes, right, and you'll get a new school, which is great because that's always not a stressful time just after your mum's died. Just put your son in a completely new environment. We're all his friends, aren't they? Great work there, Anthony. You're not a great dad either. But to be fair, Edward Furlong has grown to be a teenager, unlike Dopey Doctor's kid.
Yep.
1-0 Anthony Edwards. But not an emphatic victory.
There's still a way to go.
Yeah. I'm like, right, cool. Anthony Edwards is in this. Edward Furlong from T2's in this.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Clancy Brown's in this.
Clancy Brown. And he's gone the Fred Gwynne route of, I'm going for the main accent. Everyone else might not be, but
yeah, he's went down. For it. As you may know, Clancy Brown, of course, from Highlander.
Shawshank Redemption, another Stephen King.
And Carnival.
Of course.
The TV show Carnival. Yeah. So he's always one of those guys, you see him, you go, all right, guys, we're fucking jamming here. And by the way, what a great Clancy Brown character. He's a sheriff. And he's like, hi there, kid. I used to date your mother. Basically, he's like, I totally was shagging your mum. In front of Anthony Edwards, cuck boy, getting cuckolded right there. But he's like, just literally telling this boy, like, I pumped your mum in front of his dad. Yeah. We've already figured this out. Clancy Brown's a dick. I'm all in. So his actual mum's dead. Sheriff's a dick. The sheriff's got a son who's a little fat boy.
Stepchild, so obviously
that's right.
Not going well for Clancy because he's looking for a real like alpha, but his son is far from even being a beta. He's clumsy. He's not able to look after his dumb dog.
Yeah, so that's it. Clancy Brown wants him to be like a strong man because he's the sheriff.
What I like is there's two kinds of people in the world. You've got cat people and dog people, and in this film, Clancy Brown is a rabbit person.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so he's got pet rabbits.
No explanation needed.
And, pet rabbits, and his fat son, he's got like a big dog.
Yeah.
Wonder what's going to happen next. We all know what's going to happen next. But we've seen the first film. Sheriff Clancy Brown in this film. He's some small town sheriff dude, right? Mm-hmm. He pumped that actress, and his new wife's not too shabby either. Like, guys, I'm fucking doing some riding here, and there can be a huge amount of opportunity.
I think that's his issue in this town, is that he certainly feels he's like the sort of king of the town. He was clearly like the high school quarterback, prom king. He's now the town sheriff. He clearly has all of that, and so things that get in the way of him being king of Ludlow really get on his tits. So, his stepson seems to be unable to please him. When Anthony Edwards suddenly comes back and sort of reminds him about his past life, then that is another like wound for his ego. He's quite a kind of toxically masculine character, but it makes for great fodder for the movie because of Clancy Brown's performance. And in classic, what we look for in sequels, we can already tell this film is breaking away from the sort of like template the first one set. Yeah. We know certain beats are going to be hit, but this film is dealing with other topics. It's going other interesting places.
Totally agree. Clancy Brown doing well with the pumping. Fair play. Hi, it's me, Chris, the sexier half of Diminishing Returns podcast. I have two shows at the Glasgow International Comedy Festival 2019. If you're listening to this in the future, after March of 2019, too late. But if you're listening to this near the time of release, I have two shows at the Glasgow International Comedy Festival. The first one, I'm part of a showcase of Scottish stand-up called Three Men and a Tall Lady at the Iron Horse Pub on the 23rd of March at 4:30. It's a Saturday, so that has me, who you know is hilarious, and a bunch of other cool stand-ups, including finalist in the Scottish Comedian of the Year competition. Three Men and a Tall Lady is a show that we've done for previous festivals. It always sells out, so if you do want to come, get your ticket from the Glasgow International Comedy Festival website. The other show that I'm doing is with my improv group, Improv Killed My Dog. We're doing a show called Magnum PI. This is one of the dumbest things we've ever done. We did it at the Fringe last year. It was really good fun, so we're basically doing an improvised episode of a show that I have never seen. Magnum PI. and that is on Friday the 29th of March at 7:15. Tickets for both shows are available from the Glasgow International Comedy Festival website, so just Google Glasgow Comedy Festival, and that's Three Men and a Tall Lady, which is a stand-up show, and Magnum P.I., which is an improv show. Bye. So, Edward Furlong goes to school, gets a bit of hassle at school, blah, blah, blah. There's a school bully. He's got his fat pal. Fat pal has this dog, as we've mentioned. Oh, what happens? Oh, dog dies. Oh, God.
Oh, well, it's not just as simple as that, because the dog is another thorn in Clancy Brown's side. The dog's trying to get in at Clancy's beloved rabbits. Clancy decides to shoot the dog because that boy's been told once too often, you've got to keep your dog in check.
By the way, this is why, for me, Clancy Brown is the best parent in this fucking franchise. He's fucking laying down laws. He's fucking letting him know what the fuck is happening here. I'll kill your dog, little man. Alright, I'll kill your dog. Clancy Brown for the win. Parent of the franchise. Fact. So yeah, he shoots his dog. Dog's dead. Wonder what's going to happen. Well, see, there's the old legend of the Creed family, which was the family from the first film. Buried stuff in the ancient Indian burial ground. At this point, just like, put a fucking fence up. Guys, it's just not let people come here. Like, pave over it. Pave over it. You know what? You'll not get undead zombie killers, right? But this whole fucking community, lazy bastards.
Do you know what this town needs? A truck stop. Do you know where you could put the truck stop? Right over the Indian burial ground.
Beautiful. By the way, you don't see any fucking trucks in this film. That really annoyed me. I was like, where's all the trucks? The whole fucking point of the first film is that there's trucks zooming past all over the fucking shop. But in the sequel, what's happened to the economy? Has there been a highway built since? I need to see a scene in the town planner's office where they're like, yeah, there's no trucks here for that reason. And then I'd be like, fine, I'm glad we had this 10-minute scene. There's nothing else to do with the film, because now I can relax and enjoy Pet Sematary 2. So, listen, he's shot the dog. They go bury the dog in this ancient Indian burial ground that still nobody's paved over. And of course, the dog dies. Dog gets buried. Dog comes back evil. Dog kills Sheriff Clancy Brown.
Yeah.
At which point, Eddie Furlong and his fat pal, who are there when the dog kills him, go, oh boy, bury him in the old ancient Indian burial ground, see what the fuck happens? Yes, do it. So they fucking bury him, right? I'm going to assume that Edward Furlong did most of the digging.
Oh no, because you've got to bury your own.
Oh, that's right. Aye, that's right. You do have to. Because they come back to you, don't they?
Yeah.
That's good. Right. I'm just saying, the fat boy's probably not putting in a lot of effort. Now, so obviously, Sheriff Clancy Brown comes back.
He's going to be well balanced, isn't he? He's going to deal with the resurrection so well.
Here's the thing, he's a lot more fun when he comes back. Sheriff Clancy Brown, this kind of fucking sorted him out a bit, right? One of my favourite bits about it is as soon as he comes back, he goes back to his house and immediately is like, I'm going to fuck my wife. Now, after our Frankenstein's episode, I don't want to turn this podcast into a podcast about reanimated horror character spunk. But if you keep asking me to watch films with reanimated horror characters and there's sexy stuff happening, that's what this is going to be. Dead guy spooge. What is your obsession with dead guys jism?
I have a question for you.
Okay.
It's going to circle back to the spooge. So,
going back to my spooge. Yeah.
Dr. Anthony Edwards here is a veterinarian, obviously in the business of life and death, but he has looked at the fat kid's dog, and tests have shown the dog is dead. The wound on the dog isn't healing, so obviously there's no cellular regeneration, there's no heartbeat, so there's no circulatory action going on. So then for Clancy Brown, he's trying to pump his missus, he's not going to have an erection. If he is a stiffy, that's rigor mortis. That's not blood flow that's created that erection.
So you also think there's no jizz coming out the balls?
There's not going to be any.
So do you think Clancy Brown was just wanting to like eat out his missus?
I think it's just another like kind of ego-based thing for him. Like he's just taking what he wants. But I think we also have a definitive: dead guys don't spooge.
Yeah. They don't wear plaid.
They don't wear plaid.
They don't spooge. White men can't jump.
No.
Good to know. We're solving all the big issues here, guys. So Anthony Edwards is trying to like, what's happening with this dog? So he basically, the old veterinarian of the town, serves as like Tony Todd in Final Destination.
Yeah.
Creepy guy that just sort of gives you a little taste of what's happening.
And
by the way, great.
Oh yeah.
In a film, great.
The strength in this film is, there's stuff going on that is just completely bonkers, but it's all in service of a great fun time.
Yeah, Clancy Brown starts killing his rabbits now. He's killed all his rabbits. And he's just like, he's much more of a laugh at the dinner table. He is. He's more fun. He's less judgy. Right? Out of everybody, if anything, he might be less evil.
There's even a point where the kid is saying, he's actually alright to be around now, whereas before he was on my case about everything. Now he doesn't care, and it's good.
It's great, right? So basically, you take your chances with the Micmac burial.
Yeah.
So there's loads of spooky goings on. Oh, spooky dreams, things like that. My favourite bit is, of course, the bit where Anthony Edwards, he has dream sex with his dead wife. It's great because there's a bit where you see her boobs. Yeah, great tits. And then she turns into a dog, but a dog with great tits. So it's still kind of hot. Yeah. But then in real life, in the film, the dog is attacking him in his sleep. So, hold on.
Was he boning the dog?
Was he fucking that dog? Was Anthony Edwards having sex with the dog? We need to have questions, because in real life, that dog did not have great tits. Only in the dream sequence. So,
yes.
Questions need to be asked.
Now, there's 2 dream sequences in this film. Both involve dog-headed ladies. And you're not a fan of the dream sequence as a device.
I'll tell you this. I think most dream sequences could be improved by dogs with big tits. If that's at least like weird, like proper, like, yeah, you know what? I did not expect to see that, and I don't think you could see that outside of a dream.
So you're okay with dream sequences as long as it's clear, like it's a dream sequence? You don't like it when it's lulling you into this is happening for real.
But then you obviously know it isn't, because it's something that would never happen. That really annoys me.
Okay,
and that really annoys me. And mostly dream sequences are boring because dreams are boring. Like, somebody telling you about their dream is like 2 men doing a podcast about films. It's dull, right? It's fucking sad, and nobody wants to hear it. But in this one, let me be very clear, you got to see boobs, and then suddenly it was a dog with boobs. That's just objectively fucking cool. You know, fair play. So I enjoyed that dream sequence. What was the other one?
Edward Furlong has it. He's having a dream, and he thinks his mum is in the room in the corner, and then when he looks back, she's a dog head, and then it's Zoe that's in the chair.
Basically, this film, if you own a dog,
I don't think you're going to like this film if you own a dog. There's a lot of dog trauma.
No, I think people will, right?
Oh,
and I'll tell you why. I have a theory, a sneaking suspicion, that every single dog person would secretly, if there was no judgment, fuck their dog. Every single dog person I know who loves the little doggos, you're going to say, that's disgraceful and that's disgusting, but you know I'm right. I'm not a dog person, so I can see you weirdos, right, for what you are. If society had said to you, listen, we're not going to judge you, you'd all be bald or snatch deep and your little furry friends. So you'll love it, because you could imagine you being Anthony Edwards fucking a dog. This is great. Sheriff Clancy Brown kills the school bully, right?
In the most insane way. Quite a good sequence. Fat Kid and Eddie are just out, and they have a chat about grief and death, and it's interesting to get like a teenager's perspective, you know, someone who's early on in their life thinking about, you know, what comes next. They have that deep chat, then they split up, and as they split up, Eddie gets chased down by the school bully on his motorbike, and just when the school bully is going to physically harm Eddie, who comes out of the woods but a manic Clancy Brown, just in time to save Eddie. So Eddie runs off to safety, and Clancy Brown decides to put a parting in the face of the school bully by using the wheel of his motorcycle.
Yeah, he kind of does it a wee bit, almost even by accident the first time. And then he goes, oh, that was cool, and then just scuds it right in his face. Undead Clancy Brown is cool as fuck. I am super into it.
Undead Clancy Brown, 2 of his best roles involve heavy neck trauma and going mental.
He should only be in films where he's some sort of weird, not living dead guy, because he's great as the Kurgan in Highlander, and he's great in this.
Neck trauma for Clancy.
That does sound like a Pavement song title. So yeah, Clancy's cool as fuck, because then he eventually goes fuck it and tries to kill his fat stepson. Yeah, boy! Right? But here's the only bit where I'm slightly disappointed in Clancy.
Okay.
He's a fat kid. You can catch him. Why are you letting a fat kid get away from you that easily? Much like in the earlier film, these grown fit people couldn't overpower a toddler. Clancy Brown, who is a fine figure of a man, can't chase down a little fucking chocolate-filled fat boy.
So your issue is, in the first film, they're asking you to believe that the possessed infant is stronger than he is, and in this film, that possessed Clancy is somehow weaker or not as capable.
Not as capable, exactly. You can't have it both ways. He's a wee fat boy. Fat boys can't run fast. Don't get angry. I'm a fat guy. I can't run fast. Clancy Brown now, who's probably in his 60s, he'd still be able to catch me, right? And yet, 1992, you can't catch this fucking roly-poly fuckwad. The one thing that I have a problem with in these films, it's almost as if they don't care about how you murder these children in these films.
What I like about the sequence, though, when he is trying to kill his stepson, is that he's chasing him, siren on in the car, and he's like, this is the police.
Yeah.
You know? And then he gets to the house, and he's got a hammer, and he's reading him his Miranda rights as he's smashing stuff up with a hammer.
Cool as fuck.
Tour de force of maniac proportions.
It's fucking brilliant.
We even get like a Shining style head through the door gag as well. well when he
Yeah.
smashes his way through.
So basically, his mum comes in the car and the kid's like, he's trying to kill us. And she's like, wait, what? At which point Clancy jumps on the fucking bonnet of the car, being like, I'm trying to kill him. And she's like, what the fuck? And then they have a car chase, which ends with brilliantly Clancy Brown hitting his car into their car. So it scuds into, let me be clear, a wee potato truck.
That's right.
It's a little truck filled with totties. So now, instead of these big oil trucks that have been, giant long distance lorries with massive containers in the back, the economy in 1992, this is before Bill Clinton started getting America back again. It's now just little tiny trucks with totties. However, those trucks can also be deadly if you fuck your car into them. And Clancy Brown kills his wife and his fat stepson by fucking them into a truck full of potatoes, which I loved it. I was like, well in.
That car smash is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And brutal. And then he callously just leaves the scene, leaves them to die in the mangled wreckage.
I am totally coming around on this. This is fucking great. I've just really had so much fun at this point. So, fat kid's dead. Obviously, nobody buries him in the ancient Indian burial ground because it's like, that's a lot of work. You're going to have to you're going to have to hump him over that fucking bit to get to the ancient Indian burial ground. So at this point, we then get to realise that wee Edward Furlong, and then Edward pops his head up at the attic that the kid's in, and he's like, hey, what's all this? You've put all your mum's like dresses and stuff out.
Yeah, Edward, why are you building the creepy as fuck shrine to your dead mum?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, no reason, Dad. There's totally no weird reason for what I'm doing.
Yeah, we all know, which we've all known from the start of this film, that mum's getting buried in the old fucking burial ground, right? And this is where Edward Furlong in this sort of stretch of the film just becomes this creepy wee bastard, which he's really good at and totally suits. So I was super into it, right? So he's bringing his mum back, right? Basically, old Sheriff Clancy Brown's like, yeah, I'll give you a horn.
You want your mum back, I want your mum back.
Remember I was fucking your mum? Right? I might be possessed, but I'm still gonna fuck your mum. Which again, commitment. That's why Clancy's all right in my book. Do you know what I mean? The man knows what he wants.
Yeah,
he wants to fuck Edward Furlong's dead mum.
There's a little snippet here where I think it becomes almost Bergman-esque when Eddie shows up and Gus is digging up the mountain and he just sort of like points silently towards where he's got to go, and it's just that one sequence.
It's really nice, like kind of completely stylized over the stylized. So it's great. So basically Clancy Brown digs up his maw and then he takes her down, but he's like, no, you've got to do the burying bit. But he goes, you bury what you own.
You bury your own.
So he's obviously, right, that's it. Mum's coming back. At this point, the film goes into Crazy Town. It was already been crazy, and it's just like, let's just fucking ramp it up. So Edwards is trying to figure out what's going on, right?
Yeah.
No wonder he lost his hair over the next year or so. This has been a tough gig for him. He kills Clancy Brown, right? They have a fight, and he shoots him. But what I like about it is he kind of walks out the house after he shot him, and then goes, but a lot of sort of dead people come back to life, and he just walks back inside the house and puts another 3 bullets into him. But the camera stays outside, so you just see Edwards go, yeah, hold on, I've seen a lot of horror films, I'm just gonna go back and make sure, and fucking shoots him another 3 times. Anthony Edwards, you fucking badass.
It's a nice way to deal with that horror trope that,
he's not
you
coming
kill
back.
the monster, he's coming back. But that fight, there's power tools involved and all sorts, is great.
So we haven't mentioned this, right? So Anthony Edwards has hired a hot au pair.
Oh yes, that looks mysteriously like his dead wife.
Yeah, basically, when mum comes back, her first order of business is to kill the hot chick. She's like, oh, no. I'm not saying I want Anthony Edwards, but you ain't getting him, bitch. She gets murdered.
Killed by a mirror, which is wonderfully symbolic. So the mirror death is pretty horrible.
Yeah, and so like Anthony Edwards comes up and he's like, what the fuck's going on? And she's sitting there like with Edward Furlong being like, oh, we can be a family, we can be together and all that, right? What I like about this is like Anthony Edwards they divorced for a reason. He was probably just like, God, she was a pain in the arse. Like, he's not even sure she's evil yet. And Anthony Edwards is like, oh, God, fucking getting remarried. I mean, she never let me watch fucking Match of the Day. I just had to go around her sisters. Fuck this. And then she's like, oh, Edward Furlong, why don't you just go off and I'll talk to your dad alone? And I'm like, oh, right, okay. She's going to be like, come on, we can be together. Look at my great tits. I'm not really a dog. Edward Furlong's just like creepily being like, ha ha. And I'm like, yeah, but she's going to kill Anthony Edwards, isn't she? She's going to kill him. And I'm like, man, Edward Furlong, you're a wee dick. He knows she's killed the hot au pair.
Yep.
And now it's like, I'm just going to leave her alone with my dad. Your dad's not been amazing, but in the list of parents in this film, he's definitely second best. Right?
He's also dealing with grief as well. Both of them are going through their own stuff.
The main stages of grief. It's denial, fear, anger, acceptance, fucking a dog. That's your main stages. But then when Edward goes to leave, he opens the door and who's there? The fucking reanimated school bully.
Oh, which is an amazing scare and also brilliant makeup.
I like the fact that I guess Clancy Brown and her are just like, let's build a little army of pricks.
Let's just get everybody in the sour ground.
Yeah, it's great. They then have a fight and like Edward Furlong's like, oh my God, God, I guess he was going to kill me. Poor tactician is his dead mum. I think she's going to let Edward Furlong go, flashed her boobs at Anthony Edwards. He'd have been like, whoa, boobs. She'd have stabbed him, right?
Okay, distraction.
Yeah. Bit like when Natasha Yar from Star Trek The Next Generation was like, I'll snog this guy and then kill him.
Ah, yeah.
She was smart. That's why she gets to go on the bridge of the Starship Enterprise.
Yep.
This chick, she could have just been like, there's me and the school bully. That's two of us on Edward Furlong.
Yep.
We'll fucking kill him. Instead, she's just got a little bit excited. She's got a bit too eager, didn't she?
Eye on the prize.
Aye, you know what I mean? You got to go through the stages. But she's like, fuck it, let's just kill them all. So she's trying to kill Anthony Edwards. The bully's trying to kill Edward Furlong. And at one point, her face starts to melt.
Yeah.
Amazing. It's just lots of great stuff. At which point, again, not the greatest tactician. The mum is like, I'm just going to start lighting this place on fire. Wait, what? That's not going to help you.
But here she flips the tagline, you know. In the first film, it's a warning, sometimes dead is better. Whereas in this film, she's like,
Yeah, like,
come
this
and
is
have an amazing time,
They're
dead
much
is
more
better.
fun. Yeah, you know, we've had a blast here, guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, she starts setting bits of the house on fire, which gives her no advantage because she can also die.
It's contributing to the melting,
Aye, she gets kind of engulfed in flames. Eddie Furlong electrocutes the school bully,
which is amazing.
which looks
It's
cool as
totally
fuck.
amazing.
Again, really groovy, cool, gross stuff. And then it's like, right, they escape, and he's just sitting there with his son, and it's like, oh, I guess we're going to leave this town. Hey, you were cool with your au pair getting murdered, you wee psychopath bastard, and you're probably going to get your dad murdered. We're not going to talk about that. Is that something you're just going to leave? Don't really want to bring that up at the dinner table? Fucking, if I was Anthony Edwards, I would be like, young man, you're not too old to go over my knee. You know why? You helped an au pair get killed, all right? And by the way, Daddy was going to pump that au pair, all right? You know what I should do? Not murder au pairs. This film, I mean, it completely changes how that works on the ground when you come back, because like they kind of remember stuff, and like they seem to be like, not remember stuff, but like they seem to be still more like themselves.
Yeah, well, in the book, the one person they talk about that's been brought back, which is a flashback in the first film with the soldier, it's very much an evil spirit's inside them, and they become like tormentors. They seem to know everyone's dirty secrets, spiteful and shouting abuse at people. The book's approach to how the reanimated people are dealt with is much more in line with Clancy Brown.
Yeah, Pet Sematary 1, they come back and they're just pure like, murder
Yeah,
cunts,
yeah, yeah.
ah! Whereas this, like, Clancy Brown's like eating dinner, trying to pump his wife, having a bit of a laugh.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, even the old dead actress, she's wanting to kill some people.
Yeah,
but she's also like, I'm going to put on a frock. I've got a nice frock here.
Yeah,
I'm going to dress up.
There's a bit of kind of Bond villainy about it. There's a bit of theatrics about being the baddie.
Yeah, groovy fun. Whereas that first film is like, there's heady themes in the book that really come across well, and they're trying to bolt that onto a 1980s horror film. Doesn't quite work for me. The second one's like, yeah, our heady theme here isn't gross shit cool. Let's do it. Fucking rock on. So I really enjoyed two. I must admit, I enjoyed bits of one. There's loads of references I now get that have been made in other things. There's some nice bits, and there's bits that I really enjoyed. Fred Gwynne. When it's Pet Sematary 2, I was like, whoa, fucking hell. Well done, everyone.
I think tone-wise, just that shift into lunacy really helps the second one. And in terms of sequels, if you'll, pardon the sort of cemetery-style pun, but it breaks new ground.
Yeah.
The cast in the second film are generally much, much better, the exception being Fred Gwynne.
So, Al, let's wrap this up.
Yep.
Pet Sematary 1, you enjoyed.
I enjoyed,
yes. But not maybe for the same reasons. I couldn't wholeheartedly recommend it. Pet Sematary 2, great fun.
Yeah.
And you prefer 2 to 1?
I prefer 2 to 1. Yeah.
We have consensus.
Yeah. There are things that happen in one that I really like. There are things that happen in one that I think are really pretty freaky, particularly like the Zelda stuff I find quite unnerving.
Yeah. To wrap up on Pet Sematary 2, I must say I'm sad to say that Butch Wolfe does not return as supervising Foley editor.
No.
That's the only mark I could give against it. I need somebody with a great name in the credits of this film.
Well, local makeup artist is credited as Bill Splat Johnson.
Pet Sematary 2. How did I ever doubt you? Well, I have to tell some more stories. See us next time on Diminishing Returns podcast. You bury your own. Not gonna lie, I really enjoyed doing that accent. Bye! nothing scary about fucking cats with stupid eyes. Fuck that shit. Stephen King. Whack-ass goofy bullshit. This is very much the cemetery of my dreams, this podcast. It's very much, this is a fate worse than death. If I ever do haunt you, it will not be positively. It will be, I will be a dick.